Today is Thursday, May 11, 2017. Welcome to the Government News Brief. In the news this evening, on government's second anniversary, Minister of Finance Winston Jordan shares challenges of Finance Ministry, greater collaboration between Guyana and Brazil in agriculture and livestock farming expected, and CARICOM members urged to unite to spur economic development at 44th meeting of Chairman of the Council for Trade and Economic Development. Stay tuned for these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta LaFleur. Here are the details. The reorganization of the Finance Ministry and the provision of timely information were two key components addressed after taking office. This is according to Minister of Finance Winston Jordan. Paul McAdam has the details.
Recapping the government's two-year anniversary in office today, the Finance Minister, Winston Jordan, says that despite being familiar with the system, having served in the ministry in various senior capacities, he was surprised at what he found upon his return, namely, a lack of progress.
Since I've returned, at least we're concerned with the ministry. I've been trying to reorganize the ministry to cater for the new and more dynamic environment that we are in. And for example, reporters who have gone to our website will have seen a vastly different website than you would have had before, and there's so much information now that some reporters are, kind of worried how to interpret some of them.
Minister Jordan adds that now you can get economic information with just a click. And despite the fact that it may be used sometimes against the government, the administration, he says, does not mind. The essence, he knows, is that information should not be hidden from the public.
To the extent that they can use the information for whether they're university, offices, whatever, private sector use the information for planning and so on, we will have a better economy at the end of the day.
More services will be provided, Minister Jordan highlights, with the move by the Bureau of Statistics to conduct two long overdue censuses.
One that will result finally in understanding what is the unemployment rate nationally and regionally, because it is important to understand the nature of unemployment and employment by region so that you could plan regionally. And of course, it's important to understand whether you're making a difference nationally to the unemployment rate. And secondly, they are also going to be doing the consumer price index.
The latter, he says, which has focused on Georgetown and its environs, will be expanded to cover the regions. The fact that national budgets are being issued earlier at the start of the fiscal year should also be lauded.
People scoff at this, but it's amazing at what you can scoff at. Things that you should have been getting by right, by things that happen in normal societies. But we have been so beaten down, so accustomed to less, that when we get more, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do with it. But it's a change that you voted for.
Paul McAdam, Government News Brief.
Deeper cooperation between Guyana and Brazil is expected in the areas of agriculture and livestock farming, following a local delegation's trade and investment mission in Boa Vista. More from Gabriela Patram.
The 12-member mission was aimed at bringing together decision-makers in the relevant Guyanese agencies and Brazilian investors who are interested and ready to invest in large-scale agribusiness in Guyana. Minister of Business Dominique Gaskin, through an interpreter delivering the feature address at the Investors Forum at the Federation of Industries in the state of Roraima, says that now is the right time for the private sector to take the lead and seize the opportunities created by the bilateral agreement between the two countries.
There has always been the expectation that the private sector will seize the opportunity to emulate the spirit of our two governments.
A gente sempre tem a expectativa que o setor privado faça as demandas dos nossos governos.
And will seek areas for cross-border cooperation.
E buscar as áreas de cooperação transfronteiriças.
We have seen this in the gold mining sector, and now we would like to see this cooperation extend to agriculture and other sectors.
Minister Gaskin notes that Guyana's economy is opening up to the rest of the world, and now is the time for investors to establish a long-term presence. He further notes that Guyana has the land, the labor, and the link to the Atlantic that will make the two countries good partners for the landlocked neighboring state of Roraima.
Agriculture and agro-processing are priority economic sectors for our country, and our government welcomes collaboration with partners who have the experience and the expertise and the technology to grow and process foods for international markets.
Guyana's ambassador to Brazil, George Talbot, thanked the state of Roraima for their confidence in Guyana.
Thank you for this opportunity
Somente para agradecer essa oportunidade
of partnership,
de parceria,
of strengthening of our bilateral relations,
de fortalecimento de nossas relações bilaterais,
of expanding opportunity for trade,
da expansão de oportunidades para negócios,
for business between our two countries,
para o comércio e negócios entre os dois países,
and for opening opportunities for our peoples.
Additionally, Brazil's ambassador to Guyana, Luis Popo de Paula, says he is happy that such a large delegation was present in Guyana.
The possibilities that Roraima can offer to Guyana in a win-win game. This is very important. It's not just Roraima will win or Guyana will win. Everybody will win with this connection of this meeting like this morning. Well, me and Dominique, we know that we are trying with this meeting today, and as I said, sometimes we tried before, and other times it didn't happen. But we are sure now that we have a new opportunity and we need to go for it.
During the 3-day missions, visits were made to a number of farms to have a first-hand experience of farming techniques. Additionally, a number of talks were held with Brazilian investors. The Guyana delegation comprised members of the Ministry of Business, the Guyana Office for Investment Go-Invest, Guyana Lands and Survey Commission, GLNSC, and the Ministry of Agriculture. For the Government News Brief, Gabriela Patram.
Chairman of the Council for Trade and Economic Development, COTED, is calling on members of Caribbean Community CARICOM to work together to strengthen relations towards achieving economic growth. Tiffany Rodias has the details.
The current chairman of COTED and Minister of Trade, Industry and Tourism in Suriname, Ferdinand Walzid, at the opening of the 44th regular meeting calls on CARICOM member states not to hinder business in the region.
I wish to stress the need for full, safe, and unhindered access for our business society in the CARICOM single market.
The Surinamese minister notes that private-public partnerships are important for economic development in the region and charges member states to work together towards this end. Meanwhile, CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin Larocque says the region can send a clear signal of its determination to make a difference by reaching an agreement for regional policy for micro, small and medium enterprises.
It is an opportunity to open the way for the small entrepreneur to benefit from our single market.
COTED is responsible for the promotion of trade and economic development in the Caribbean community. The 2-day meeting here in Guyana will look at moving the Caribbean Single Market and Economy, CSME, forward, the region's foreign trade policy and Brexit, among other matters. For the Government News Brief, Tiffany Rogers.
Turkine and Tain talks reinforce need for preparing future lawyers and leaders of Guyana's emerging oil and gas sector. Details in this report.
The country's emerging oil and gas sector took center stage as the 7th University of Guyana Turkine talks in New Amsterdam, Berbice. UG students, lecturers and panelists listened to and learned from each other on various perspectives and components of the industry. Gas attorney and alumni of the University of Guyana, Kyron Matai, stresses the importance of having the necessary legal training in place that relates to preparing leaders and lawyers that will be needed for the sector.
While the oil and gas industry remains dominated by technical and scientific risks and research, that added composition of law allows for the erosion of some of that risk through the allocation of liability among all involved parties. Those therefore considering a future in the industry must therefore recognize that legal training in oil and gas is a specialization cocooned by the vocabulary and decisions that are constantly developed into Lex Petrolia. Within the scope of preparing for oil and gas, this therefore translates to an appreciation of law as being dynamic within the industry.
Meanwhile, Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman assures the gathering that Guyana's oil and gas sector potential is real and that the government thought it necessary to strengthen its legal framework to protect the emerging sector.
We believe that we needed to strengthen our regulatory and legal frameworks as a matter of urgency, because unless we have systems in place, we would be unable to handle, as it were, the production and the benefits of the production. And so we have started a process of reviewing our Petroleum Act. It's a 1986 act, and of course quite dated, and was weighted more in favor of exploration rather than discovery and production, because we all thought we had the potential, but no one really believed that we had not just the potential, but this very, very rich potential. And so with help from the Commonwealth Secretariat, we are doing a process of review, and all of our laws are being reviewed, and in some instances we are creating new laws.
The University of Guyana's Turkine and Teen Talks are intended to be a bi-monthly thought forum. The talks are aimed primarily at facilitating informed and respectful discourse on matters of public interest that have significant national, regional, or international implications. For the Government News Brief, Gabriela Patram.
Government's community-organized for a restored environment core groups providing jobs for youth launched in Regions 1 and 2. Here are the details.
The core initiative is quickly spreading across Guyana. CORE is an initiative of the Ministry of Public Infrastructure's Special Projects Unit. Its purpose is to assist with environmental upgrade, drainage, sanitation, roadworks, and improving villages. Minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Annette Ferguson, on Tuesday and Wednesday launched the CORE project in Regions 1 and 2. Group leader for Region 2's CORE, Parmanand Singh, says he is thankful to the government for this initiative, which has helped him and his team in securing employment.
This is a new job, new everything, and we are happy to the government give me this job here, to me and my group. I feel anxious, me and my team, we're going to be make a scribble, a cleaner environment to everybody, to every people.
Meanwhile, Vanessa Abraham, a mother of one of the beneficiaries of the Region 1 core group, was in tears of joy as her educated son finally got a job after several failed applications.
Very thankful to my son, Alonzo. He had applied for a job because he had 4 subjects in CDC, and it was done. He did apply again to the region, and up to now he never get back. He didn't hear back anything. I'm very thankful to him. He have the subject.
Minister Ferguson told the residents and participants that this is a fulfillment of government's promise of providing jobs for young people.
So the idea behind the CORE is basically to employ young people between the ages of 18 to 35, those who don't have a job. And the government is committed to ensuring that our young people get involved.
The minister urged the participants to not stop there, but venture out and seek to become employers and further create jobs for other young people in their community. Other communities to benefit from core groups include Port Kaituma, number 51 to Molson Creek, Kato, Madia, and Lethem. The 2017 budget provides $1.3 billion for the Special Projects Unit, under which the core groups are being funded.
The Department of Education, Georgetown, wishes to advise the public that late applications for children in nursery and primary schools are still being submitted. Parents are asked to submit their applications to any nursery school. We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website. GINA has an active Facebook page, and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be informed as the news unfolds. You can also visit our website and YouTube channel. Do join us tomorrow for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renetta LaFleur. Thank you for watching.